Hello, welcome back to the Boardgame's 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a Ravensburger classic. We're going to be talking about the amazing Labyrinth. This is a family game where you will be traversing a labyrinth. You will be trying to collect objects whilst shifting the maze to try and stitch out your opponents that will allow you to win the game. And in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We will be telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Labyrinth is still worth playing today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and we will see you after this. So, Labyrinth. How do you play this game? So to set up Labyrinth, what you are going to do, you're going to put the board in the centre of the table, and you'll notice that the board is actually incomplete when you take it out of the box, right? So that's why you've got 34 maze tiles, right? So what you'll do, you'll turn all the maze tiles face down, and then you'll randomly put them into these slots to create a board, and there'll be one maze tile left over, and you'll put that to one side, right? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take all the object cards and you'll deal out an equal number of object cards to each player. And then what you do, the side is going to go first, and what they'll do, they'll take the leftover maze tile that you put next to the board, right? And then you'll choose a space around the board that's got an arrow on it, and you'll insert the maze tile into that slot, and you'll push all the other maze tiles across until one plops out the other side, right? And then you'll take that and you'll give it to the next player, right? So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to move your plan piece, and you'll flip over the first card in your pile of object cards. You'll look at it and you'll try and find it on the board, and your aim is to try and get to those objects and be the first player to collect all the objects on your object card. So what you do, you will then move your plan piece as far along an open path as you like until you can't move any further. And you don't have to move the full distance if you don't want to. You can move 1, 2, 3 spaces or whatever you want to do. If you reach the object that's on your card, then you will place that object card to one side and you'll draw the next card, right? So you'll keep doing this, you'll keep shifting the maze around, you'll keep trying to chase after objects, and the player who is the first player to exhaust their deck of object cards will be the winner of Labyrinth. So what do we like about Labyrinth? So the first thing that we really like about this game is surprisingly strategic. I mean, when we picked this up years ago, I thought it was just going to be one of them, Ravensburger kids games like a Penguin Pile-Up or something like that, or the Enchanted Forest, where it's basically just sort of a random mess. But this game actually gets you to sort of think ahead. Not only are you concentrating on acquiring your objects, but you're also trying to prevent other players from getting theirs, and the shifting maze mechanism allows you to think ahead on two fronts: how you're going to get your stuff and how you're going to stop other people from getting it. And that's really, really good. So the second thing that we really like about Labyrinth, it follows on from that first point, is the game allows you the opportunity to really, really stitch up your opponents, right? And in a child's game, how old is this for? 7 to 99. So if the fact that this game encourages 7-year-olds, and you could play this with 5-year-olds. My 5-year-old son really likes this game. He can understand it completely. But the fact that this game encourages 5-year-olds to sort of stitch up other players is absolutely brilliant, and we love that in this. We love that. So the third thing that we really like about Labyrinth is this game is absolutely brilliant for kids, and it gives them a good grounding on the ability to think ahead, because not only have you got to plan your route to your next object, but you've also got to think about what your opponents are going to do to try and stop you. So there is this thing in this game where you can bluff as well, yeah? So you could make somebody think that you're going one way when really you're trying to tempt them into moving a tile that will actually make it easier for you to get to where you want to go. And the fact that this teaches children how to plan ahead and to plot courses on a map, so to speak, it's really, really good for kids. What don't we like about Labyrinth? So the First thing that we don't like about Labyrinth is it's just that little bit too simple for my family. I think my kids, they were asking why isn't there any kind of player powers in this? And I know it's just a basic, really early fantasy sort of themed game, but my kids were sort of wanting that little bit more. You know, this wasn't enough sustenance. They craved some kind of game breaking ability or something. Maybe that's because they're used to all this sort of stuff around me, but you know, there just wasn't enough substance in this game. It's a great game, but there wasn't enough in it to satisfy my kids at the end of the day. So the second thing that we really like about Labyrinth is it's too long at the end of the day. Once you've dealt out all them cards, and if you're playing with 4 players, you're going to be really, really frustrated about how long it's going to take you to get through that deck. So my advice to you is either slim out the amount of cards that each player's got, or create an offer of 3 cards and allow players to choose which one of them 3 cards. And then once you've exhausted the deck, then end the game, yeah. But even then, the game might be just that little bit too long, especially if you're playing with younger children. So it might be better to actually slim the deck down. So the final thing that we don't like about Labyrinth is it can get a little bit frustrating if you're going for that specific object, like a butterfly. I think there's a butterfly in this. But if you're going for a particular object and it gets snatched away from you, and you're going to have to restructure your strategy on how you're going to get it, and then you go for it again and the same thing happens, and the same thing happens, and the same thing happens, you know what I mean? So it can get a little bit frustrating. And when you couple that with the fact the game's too long, so there's too many cards in the game can bog itself down pretty quickly. And especially if you're playing with young children, they sort of tend to lose interest if they get stitched up too much. So you just got to be careful if you're playing with young children with this one, that A, you make the game manageable for them, and B, you don't try and deliberately upset them too much, you know what I mean? So to summarise, is Labyrinth still worth playing today and in the future? We're going to say yes, this is one of our favourite family/children's games that we've ever played. It's surprisingly simple. It's an astonishingly deep game for kids because it forces them to think ahead and try and identify their opponent's next move, right? The fact that this game has been in print for so long, when was it printed? Let's have a look. It's been in print since... Well, our copy's 2007, but it's older than that, right? So the fact that it's been in print for so long is just, it's proof that this game is now regarded as an absolute classic. We're going to give Labyrinth 4 out of 5. If you've got young children, then this game is an absolute must. And even if you haven't got young children, this is a surprisingly fun and quite satisfying puzzle. You know, so there you go. That's Ravensburger's Labyrinth. If you haven't got it, we definitely recommend that you pick it up. And remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. Tell us what you think of Labyrinth if you've played it. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.